Thank you, Anjali. Anjali and I worked together about 30 years ago, so always great to be with you. Happy to be here today with Sophia Chibani on the RFK Human Rights team. And there is somebody in this room who's much better, who's much more appropriate to speak about strategic litigation, and that's Angelita Bayans, who runs all the strategic litigation for RFK Human Rights. She has 45 cases at any given time, and she's never lost a case. So it's an extraordinary honor to speak to a gathering of such profound moral and legal authority. And let me just start by saying Bhuvan I have known for more than 25 years. And he is somebody who's devoted his entire life to protecting children, and somebody who I consider my hero. So very, very happy to be with you, always. Today, I ask you to turn your influence towards ensuring that the law works, not just as an institution, as an ideal, but as a living and concrete instrument for the protection of children. According to UNICEF, 650 million girls and women alive today were married as children. In 2022 alone, 12 million girls became child brides. About 90 million children alive today have experienced sexual violence. And a recent study by the University of Edinburgh estimates that over 300 million children globally every year are exposed to sexual abuse or exploitation online. Of the almost 70,000 detected victims of trafficking in 2022, more than a third were children. This shows how child marriage, child trafficking, and child sexual abuse remain extremely prevalent and some of the most pervasive and devastating crimes of our age. They strip children of their innocence, their dignity, and their futures. These crimes are violations not only of the law, but of conscience. And yet they persist because legal systems too often fail to protect and prevent, to prosecute, and to make reparations. This is what strategic litigation is all about, and it must play its transformative role. Strategic litigation is not only about single cases and single victories. It is about addressing structural problems, shaping precedent, changing culture, and compelling states and institutions to live up to their legal and moral obligations. We've witnessed its power. Courts have struck down laws permitting child marriage. Survivors of trafficking have secured accountability not only against their abusers, but against governments that neglected their duty to protect. Regional and international courts have set standards that nations can no longer ignore. These cases illuminate the path forward. But to make strategic litigation a true force for change, we must pursue it along 4 dimensions. First, protection. Courts must enforce the state's duty to build systems that shield children before harm occurs. Through child-sensitive reporting mechanisms, trained investigators, and survivor-centered services. 2, prevention. By challenging discriminatory statutes and practices, litigation dismantles the legal loopholes and cultural justifications that sustain child marriage and other abuses. Prevention is about removing the conditions in which harm flourishes. 3, prosecution. Strategic cases must not stop at punishing individuals, but should hold institutions and, where necessary, states themselves to account. Impunity is the oxygen in which these crimes survive. Prosecution is the antidote. And 4, reparations. Children who have been victims of abuse have a right to remedies, including rehabilitation. It is not enough to see perpetrators punished. They have trauma to heal, a project of life to pursue, faith in humanity, in justice to be restored. But reparations go beyond the specific individual victim and are a tool to implement non-repetition practices across the country. And both individuals and collective reparation measures are part of the obligation of states under international law. The effectiveness and impact of strategic litigation to really be a transformative tool for the protection of children depends on the compliance of states with the relief orders emanating from the litigation. All this work cannot be carried forward by lawyers alone. It requires champions like the people in this room. And here, your roles are decisive. We, working together, can mobilize political will and resources. We, working together, can set bold precedents. We can empower young advocates and expand access to justice. And we can use our moral voices to keep the urgency of this issue in the global conscience. Camus wrote, "Perhaps this will always be a world in which children suffer, but we can decrease the number of suffering children. And if you don't do this, who will?" Indeed, this is a room of people who say, I will. So let's grow this room. Thank you, and thank you, Bhuvan.